Yo everyone, I'm Larry and you've arrived here once again at Larry's full card betting guide for this week's UFC fight card, which is UFC Fight Night Emmett vs Murphy. This fight card is going down this weekend and I'm pretty keen to go through some of my own bets and ideas for betting opportunities for this card. To be fully transparent, I will show my previous results for the last fight card as often as I can, so that will be on every single betting guide video. These are my previous results for the last few betting guides, and there are only 3 since I've just started this. I did end up making a nice profit last week with the Moreno vs Usyk betting guide, and I'm looking to create a win streak here and keep it going as long as I can. I'll be going through absolutely everything in this betting guide, from who I picked to win each fight, my own strong favorites and solid underdogs, my very own personal favorite lock of the card and underdog lock of the card, and to finish off, I will walk you guys through all of my own personal bets just so you can see what I've decided to do with all the research I've put into this card. As always, timestamps are in the description and the comment section below if you guys want to skip to anything in particular. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. What you're looking at here are the lists of favorites and underdogs for the entire UFC Fight Night Emmett vs Murphy fight card, and this is just to show you guys who I actually ended up picking and how many of those were underdogs and favorites on the card. If you haven't come here for my full card predictions and breakdown video where I talk in detail my reasoning for all of my fighter picks, please go and check out that video if you want some additional information on why I made the picks that I've made. And if you have come from that video, thanks for supporting the channel and watching both of the videos. I will now be highlighting in green who my picks were for this card, and as you can see, I have a few underdogs picked, but mostly have stuck with quite a few of the favorites on the card. But regardless if they are underdogs or are favorites, the people who I have highlighted in green are the ones I think can win these fights the majority of the time. I will highlight Vanessa Demopoulos and Talita Alencar here in orange for you, and that's just because they are both the exact same odds right now, so technically there is no underdog or favorite for this matchup currently at the time of recording this video. Let's move on and go through some of the fighters I've picked and deemed to be strong favorites and solid underdogs for the card, guys. As you can see here, for strong favorites, I've picked Lerone Murphy, Joanderson Brito, Dione, Barbosa, and Loma Lookboonmee. I think these guys are honestly the strongest favorites on the card and have the highest chance to win out of a lot of the favorites that are on the card in my opinion. The numbers next to their names are just the return you'll get on them if you were to bet on them. So for example, if you bet $1 on Lerone Murphy to win, you would actually receive 30 cents back on top of your initial bet. So an $100 bet would net you a profit of $30 overall. So hopefully that makes sense for everyone here. Now to jump into the solid underdogs I've chosen for this card, I've personally chosen Cortavius Romius, Robert Valentin, Davey Grant, and Pedro Falcao as the strongest and most solid underdogs to bet on for this card. And something about Davey Grant here, guys, is he's the only underdog that I actually didn't even pick in the prediction video, but the dude is pretty underrated and has a solid chance to win this fight, and his odds are pretty good as well, like you can see. I do think all these guys here have a solid chance to win their fights, and the return on some of them are really good. Anyways, guys, that is it for my own picks for strong favorites and solid underdogs for the card. Now to move on to the locks of the card for both the favorites and underdogs, and I have ended up choosing Joanderson Brito as my lock of the card for the favorites. And this pick, you guys, when you see my bets, you will understand how confident I am in Brito to get this one done. It's pretty insane. The guy should be able to get the finish in this fight, almost certainly. I wouldn't really even think about picking the KO or decision prop. I'd pretty much go straight for the finish prop or like a KO prop if I were to place a bet on this guy. Honestly, I'm very confident in him to get this one done. Let's move on to the underdog lock of the card now. And I sort of had a few to choose from since I picked a few underdogs on this card, and honestly, I was tossing up between Cortavius Romius and Robert Valentin as my underdog lock of the card, and I ended up edging it towards Cortavius Romius to take this spot, and I gave him this spot, and most likely a lot of the underdogs will be in the bets anyway, so don't worry about it too much. But I do think that Cortavius Romius has a solid chance to win this fight, especially since Chang Ho Lee relies a lot on his grappling in his fights, and I would give Cortavius Romius the BJJ advantage and the physicality advantage going into this one. Even though he will be the shorter fighter in this exchange, I think he's more muscly, he's more physical. Anyways, guys, I'll save a little bit more of the pick justification for the bet section of this video, and you guys can always go to my full card predictions and breakdown video for this event if you want my full thoughts on each fight. That's my underdog lock of the card, locking in Cortavius Romius to get this one done. let's move on from here and finally jump into my bets for this card now. Here are my current personal bets I have on this card, so you guys can check them all out. As you can see, I've actually put down probably the largest collection of bets this week and the most units I've bet on a single card so far, so let's hope for the best, boys, in this one. There are many different types of bets scattered throughout here, so I'll run you guys through all of them and a little reasoning on why I pick certain fighters for certain bets. Starting off with the underdog lock of the card, this fight is most likely going to be a close one, where I think it will end up going to a decision a lot of the time. I just think there's a chance that Quatavius Romius is able to do more in the clinch positions, maybe able to reverse position in the grappling or have his own moments in the grappling and striking. Enough to where he is able to get the win, guys. Don't know how many people are picking Romius to win, but I'm putting a full unit on him since the return is just pretty decent. Next up is Robert Valentin to win, and I for sure know that a lot of people are not picking Valentin to get this one done, and that's why the odds are so good right now. But I just could see him doing well in this fight and potentially even getting the KO on the feet over Torrez Finney. So that line of thinking made me chuck something on him. It's not a full unit, but 3/4 of a unit bet here in this one. A Joannis and Brito bet is next, and I've gone for a few riskier bets on this card, and this is one of them for sure. But in saying that, I do see it happening a lot of the time. Honestly, that's made me chuck a half a unit on this one by KO in the first round for a pretty solid return. The only reason this is half a unit is because he could get the KO in the second round or the third round, so it's pretty risky, but that's pretty much it. If you guys want to go a little safer for this bet, Joannis and Brito by KO, or just by finish, I feel is pretty safe for me personally. Of course, no bet is guaranteed and anything can happen. I just think that would be a safer line than the one I've chosen for this video. Next up, a very similar bet here, but with Kennedy Nzechukwu, and he's just that much more dangerous in my opinion than Martin Buday. But I do worry a little bit for this bet, because if Martin Buday gets hurt or potentially clinches up a lot in this fight, early in this fight, this one might go down the drain very quickly. So I'm still willing to risk it for the biscuit, as they say. Moving on to Daniel Frunza by KO, I do think the majority of the time that if Frunza wins this fight, it is by KO. So of course he could do the more damaging shots in this fight and end up winning a decision, but like I said, I'm going to go for the riskier bets on this card, so it could all pay off big or sort of blow up in my face. We will only see after this weekend. Daniel Frunza by KO is the bet there. Next up is Pedro Falcao to win. Pedro Falcao was an underdog I picked on this card, and a bit less confident on this one than I originally was in my prediction video, but I am willing to chuck something on him just because of the decent return, and I'm not even chucking on a full unit here. So that's the bet there with Pedro Falcao. Vanessa Demopoulos is next here, and I've put her on simply because they are dead even in odds. The odds are really good on her. The majority of the time, I think she wins this fight. That's pretty much it for that one, guys, in terms of justification. Now, the next bet here, Davey Grant to win outright, is a little bit of a last minute addition when I was making this video, but I just saw the odds on him during this vid, and it just seemed too good to not jump on, especially since I think the chances for each fighter to win are relatively close. So this one is the only bet I've actually made on someone that isn't someone I picked in my prediction video. I thought that was an interesting thing to mention, and a little bit of a fact there. And now to move on to the only parlay of the card. Always like chucking in my confident picks list as a parlay, and I did pick 5 fighters to put in that list. They were Loma Lookboonmee, Dione Barbosa, Brad Tavares, Joannis and Brito, and Lerone Murphy. I do think there is a good chance that this bet actually cashes. If I had to pick someone to potentially ruin this bet though, it would probably be maybe Brad Tavares, but his matchup is relatively good for him too. I only have a 1/5 of a unit on this bet anyway, so it's not much if it doesn't cash anyway. It's not too much to worry about. And now finally, guys, I am now able to talk about the hidden bet, which was the subscribers bet of the week for this card. And there was only one person who put a bet in the comments this time around for this video, so I have chosen that person's bet, which was Lerone Murphy moneyline, which just means Lerone Murphy to win outright here. I think that's a pretty safe bet, probably the safest one I have on this bet list right now, so I am going to put a full unit on that one. I think this one happens the majority of the time. So anyways, guys, that's it for Larry's full card betting guide for UFC Fight Night Emmett vs Murphy. Gonna try to make this a regular thing, of course, like I've mentioned already. If you like the videos and want to see more of it, please let me know in the comments below and make sure you like the video. Any feedback would also be appreciated, like I said. If you want me to add something or you think something could have been done better, let me know in the comments below and I'll try my best to get right on that. Also, if you have any genuine questions about things regarding the UFC, things about the channel, things about anything in general, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer those questions as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys next time.